paid more money. In other words, I had one guy, highly recommended. I was good at getting permits. I was one of the kings of. I was always very good, but the environmental stuff.
Oh, he got it. Never mind. Kamala has done bad things. So what will Trump do? Good things, the best things. By doing good things, the best things. Okay, fair. That's true.
Always.
I have no answer to that.
They could slow a project down 10 years, 15 years. I had a project in Louisiana, built big LNG plant. It was for 14 years. It was going to cost $18 billion. One of the biggest, like the Empire State Building, laying down on its side times 4. Massive on the coast, on the Gulf Coast. And they said, sir, they're going to give it up. I said, they shouldn't give it up. What's the problem? They can't get their environmental. They had environmental permits that would fill this whole room up to the ceiling. And they said there was one mistake on one little line. They wanted to do it all over again. It's not going to happen. And I got them their permit instantly. And they built the plant. It's massive.
So when you're saying that, there's people that are making money by making it difficult.
Yeah.
Are you talking about lawyers?
No, I'm talking about environmental consultants and lawyers.
Environmental consultants, profit.
Dude, this is like typical Republican ideology. Everything is a graft, okay? Every single thing. It's always like, oh, dude, environmental protections, it's a fucking industry. Someone's making money. This is his tort reform.
Fit off of dragging out the process.
Absolutely.
It's the big lawyers. They're making the rules.
And
how
they
do
make
they
the
profit?
process worse.
How do they profit?
And I'd probably do the same thing if I were them, to be honest with you.
As
I want to be honest with you.
How do they do that? How do they make it?
Let's say New York, they go to Albany.
Okay.
And they convince people that if you have a certain type of plant on the ground that's this big and in theory valueless, that it's a rare plant and you cannot ever even touch it. You can't go near it. You can't put a building on it. You can't do anything. Or there's a little puddle and they call it a lake. And you have to go by the standards of a lake. I said, no, that's a puddle. Oh, you have no idea. Guys are filling a little puddles. You have no idea what they do. And they use it as a way to stop you.
They use it as a way to stop you, and also as a way to generate money. I'm curious how are they generating money that way, though?
Well, they get fees.
They get fees.
Massive fees.
And
you pay these guys.
People rely on them as experts because they're the people that they go to when they have to run these studies in the first place.
But some of them are just bad guys, and they're trying to make it more and more difficult.
And they have a lot of power.
I think they maybe had more. They didn't have as much with me because I would get through them, and I understood it.
I know this plant he's talking about. It's in a highly active fault area from extraction and would have ruined the area around Lake Maropas and fucked up Lake Pontchartrain as well. They're still pushing it with a state ballot initiative, and the rich venture capital has been making the rounds at our conservation conferences. Remember when Joe Rogan bitch slapped Dave Rubin on the necessity of regulation and construction, and now he's fully cut the red tape? Yeah, he's gotten more conservative over time. Also, he likes Trump. Like, Trump's vibes are better than Dave Rubin's. So, Pontchartrain. Guy is literally on her back right now, right next to me. He's just like, pet me, please.
Look, I've done so many they call it environmental impact study. I did so much to build a building. To build a building in New York is very tough. You got to deal with. Think of it: financing, unions, all the municipal stuff, environmental. Of all of it, to me, the toughest thing was the environmental. Because they could stop you cold with the environmental impact study stuff, and you hire a so-called expert. They say, "Sir, he's the one guy he can get you through the morass." It's a morass. It's horrible. They use it as a weapon. They use it all over the country.
Right, but there are legitimate concerns about environmental impact, correct? Like, look about the BP oil spill. There's a lot of things that do happen that are environmentally devastating.
Damn, he didn't even need Jamie to have to pull that shit up, bro. Let's go.
Yeah.
And you want to mitigate that as much as possible.
You do. Look, I had, during our 4 years, we had the cleanest air and the cleanest water. I view it differently. I say air and water. Remember this. It costs much more to do things environmentally clean. China doesn't do anything.
Right.
When Kerry goes to see President Xi of China, which he probably doesn't even get to see him, But they look at him, oh, yes, yes, we will do. Oh, yes, yes, we're going to do that. No more coal, no more coal. And then they approve 58 coal plants for the next, they build a coal plant a week. Okay.
They build a lot of coal plants.
But let me just tell you, though, so here we are cleaning and scrubbing everything, and everything's got and the air's got to be pure. But in 3.8 days, that stuff floating over China is right over the top of us.
Right.
Same thing with the oceans.
That's awesome. That's awesome. China is responsible for all the fucking carbon pollution on the planet, and it's actually fucking up our good clean air. Okay, if that's the argument, I think it's funny because like if that's the argument, he's like, and we gotta fuck it up for ourselves. Like what? So you're acknowledging the classic fucking Republican stupidity, acknowledging that there is only a problem if China is doing it. Is so stupid. So what? What's the counter to that? Like, we have to also fucking pollute our own waters? Like, it's not like China can fucking pollute our waters. Like, they're building coal plants. We need to build them too. But when we build them, it's clean coal. When China's doing it, it's dirty coal. They're doing it extra dirty. It's so stupid.
Dump their garbage into the Pacific Ocean. If you take a little cork and put it there, in about a week and a half, it'll be in front of Los Angeles. We're picking up their garbage. So nobody ever talks about that. But in a way, the bigger one is even...
What? China's dumping their garbage into the ocean, and it's actually fucking coming our way. China dominates renewable energy and coal power forecasts. China's status as the colossus of renewable energy is set to be cemented in the next 5 years, with the world's second biggest economy adding more capacity than the rest of the globe combined. The International Energy Agency said its renewables in 2023 report released on Thursday that China will account for 56% of renewable energy capacity additions in the 2023-2028 period. China is expected to increase in renewable energy capacity by 2,060 gigawatts in the forecast period, while the rest of the world combined will add 1,574. The European Union and the United States are the next biggest builders of renewable energy at 429 gigawatts and 337 gigawatts respectively. It's worth noting, though, that India forecasts at 203 gigawatts of renewable capacity, while the 11 countries that make up the Association of Southeast Nations combined are expected to boost capacity to a combined 63 gigawatts. This shows that Asia is the dominant force in renewable energy deployment, which is also part of the real reason why America is like, or Trump is at least, anti-renewable energy. Because he's like, China's cleaning our lunch. We got to destroy the planet before they fucking dominate in renewable energy. And then everyone wants to use renewable energy. We got to fucking kill everybody. It's like, we got to do something about it. We got to light the planet on fire before we get to this gay, woke, renewable energy. We can't do it. We can't deal with it. If we flip the table while the game is in motion, then who's to say who won? Like, straight up. China's coal-fired power boom may be ending amid slowdown in permits. Permits for coal-fired power plants dropped by 83%, despite leading the world in construction as focus turns on renewables. As far as I understand, I think they modernized their existing coal power structure in order to limit its own output, its own carbon footprint, and then they're still very much full scale going in the direction of renewable energy. That's where the fucking coal power shit was coming from. If you click on me, I could talk about the coal thing in China in great detail. China's coal is way more clean, by the way, more efficient. 8 out of the 10 largest coal plants in China are ultra super critical. US has 0. China remains world leader in clean coal-fired power generation technologies. Which, by the way, this is what I'm talking about when I say clean coal, more clean. They got cleaner coal. We got to clean our coal. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that it's actually, net zero or anything like that, just so you understand. But I think this is what they were working on with their existing with their existing energy infrastructure, modernizing it so that there's less pollution overall as they move towards renewable energy. That's where that new coal plant, power plant production number comes from. Reverse China glaze time. China produces more CO2 per capita than basically every European country, although the US and Canada are still significantly greater than China. Holy fuck. Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, UAE, Brunei, Trinidad and Tobago, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Canada, United States, Russia, South Korea, Kazakhstan. China is here. China pollutes so much, but what is Trump putting tariff on? All right, electric vehicles. America is sitting on a massive stockpile of fossil fuels, and as long as that has value on a global market, it is an asset. If America and the world move away from fossil fuel sources, it is literally damaging USA's economic strength. Yeah, if only there was some initiative to leverage against this finite resource that is destroying the planet in its extraction and its utilization, and therefore America turned around. Therefore, the United States of America turned around and tried to be an renewable energy leader, but they didn't. And now China has taken over on that front. Meanwhile, you got fucking dumbasses. Like, the IRA was fine. Okay, listen. A bunch of branded initiatives, especially in terms of EV battery manufacturing capabilities and whatnot, are not bad. What's frustrating about it is that if you ask the number one greatest fucking proposal of all time, even that had like obviously silly things baked into it, but the best way to communicate renewable energy, like moving towards renewable energy, would have been by slapping it on with an objectively popular historical piece of legislation that truly revitalized the American economy at a time when, things were really bad. Maybe put a word like green in front of that very popular, all-encompassing broad piece of legislation like a New Deal. And of course, predictably, the multi-billion-dollar fucking oil and gas industry made mincemeat of that, and the Democrats stopped fucking defending it. Green New Deal is the best way to communicate this. It's not just renewable energies, but it's also a fucking jobs program. Okay? It's straight up a jobs program. And of course, despite this reality, they aggressively prosecuted it with fake bullshit. And now most Americans think Green New Deal means AOC is going to come to your house and kill you if you eat a burger.
The air, it's the currents. It's an amazing thing. It's been flowing that way for 1,000,000 years, or long before
we share air with the whole
there.
World. Yeah.
No, if we
get
cleaning,
the Sahara dust clouds over here.
Absolutely.
We get dust clouds in Austin from the Sahara Desert.
But we get the China, they call it the China curse. We get the China curse. They're bad, and their air is dirty.